Welcome, everybody. This is Chit Chatting with Jocelyn. Boy, I almost said my name wrong. And I have Marie Nodig in the studio, and this is the Body Healing Within Part 2. And we're going to get a little bit more into different aspects, the different classes, some of the, I won't call it equipment, but equipment that you can use. Doing this program with Marie and starting to look within and start to do some of these posture exercises yourself so that you're working hand in hand with your chiropractor, with your doctor, with physiologists, people like Marie, so that you totally understand your body and you can start to identify what you need to do next. So again, welcome to the show, Marie.
Thank you.
It's awesome having you here. So Marie wrote a book, and it's called The Body Within. And it's volume 1. Have you done a volume 2?
Not yet.
Not yet. Working on it.
And this is the missing piece to health and aging gracefully.
This is the missing piece?
That's the
missing piece to health and aging gracefully. And it gives you, I don't even know how many chapters. I'd have to look and see. I don't know if it even says. Yes, it does. So you have 22 chapters and in the table of contents, and it's very specific about what is in the book: learning to listen, childbirth, master teacher, answer, Sam, I'm jumping around, the awakening, healing and energy. We're hearing a lot about energy and light. And it seems to be bubbling up everywhere. It's on the internet. It's in conversations. It's when you go to your yoga class.
Right.
Different groups of people.
Right.
Why do you think this is not so taboo and people are talking about it?
Because people are looking.
They're looking for something?
They're looking for something, and what's happening is people are breaking the patterns of how they think. We see it in the news every day because some people are still stuck in time, other people are moving forward. And as they move forward and open up their way of thinking, there's an opening that people start to become more aware of certain things. And you'll read stuff about indigo children or people hearing, the psychic piece, the medium piece. Then you hear about the meditation piece. There's so many different types of energy healing out there, and all of it has its own understanding of how the universe works. Unfortunately, none of us know. There's just no way to know.
Yeah.
So the goal is, if you're going to venture into energy medicine, you have to have an understanding of why, because I see so many people get caught where they're listening to someone talking to a guide and they only want to hear that, or they want to hear a guide talking through them, whatever it is, or they want to feel and sense. I see so many people, once they feel and sense the energy, they think they have the answer. So now they're going to give that to everybody. They take a course. Now they have your answer. For me, I've tried all of that. I've investigated all of that. I think they all have their own value in the situation they're in for people to learn from, but ultimately it's going to come back to us. We're all energy. And you don't need to go to somebody to tell you that. I mean, you can do a simple thing. What I tell people to actually get started is to literally just close your eyes and see yourself in a shadow form standing in front of yourself right now. So close your eyes and see yourself just standing in front of yourself like in a shadow form. And take a line like you have a string and a pencil in your hand with your mind and run it down your head and out your right arm. Then you're going to come down your head and out your left arm. Then come down your head and down one leg, down your head and down the other leg. So you're just kind of going through your body. Now do it again and tell me if any part of your body feels easier or harder. Do you feel like it breaks up and you can't see the line? Try that.
Redrawing again. Okay. So it's one of my arms. So my question is, when the person's, so the me facing me, is it mirror image or opposite?
It's mirror.
So it's Okay, so
It's kind of opposite. I guess you would call it that because you're literally facing yourself.
right.
Yes.
So then it's my right arm.
Yeah. And what happened to your right arm?
It wasn't connecting from here to here.
Right. And that's where your injury is.
Yep.
So what you're seeing is the break of your energy pattern.
Wow.
Everybody can see it. And why that one works so well is because in order to do it, you have to visualize yourself there and then you have to run the string. So now you're being present.
That's amazing.
So it's more about really becoming part of it.
Yep.
And then, so now you know, and I tell people use that as a skill. If you're having a really bad day, look and see where it's not connecting and then do some stretching and try to just go inward and really work with your body and reconnect.
It was pretty, I wasn't sure where you were going with that. And then when you had me do it the second time, there was just a chunk missing.
Yeah. Because that's where your injury is and you're trying to reconnect that knowledge and that pattern to your body. Because when there's an injury, your body detaches. It's just what we do.
So what do you mean when your body detaches?
It blocks itself off from the rest of the body because it's hurting. Just like if you were to cut your arm off accidentally, your body would automatically slow the blood to the area because it knows that you could bleed to death. So when you hurt yourself, your body just says, okay, and walls it off. So how you heal your injury faster is you bring the flow back.
Gotcha.
Because it's a fight or flight thing. We just detach from where we hurt.
And that comes from your brain, comes from your spirit, comes from that innate healing source in you?
The blocking or the reconnecting?
The reconnecting.
The reconnecting comes from you going back inward and reminding your body what it forgot.
Okay.
Because you just move on and you don't realize
Correct.
you forgot
You don't
it.
think
So
about
you
it.
don't know you disconnected. And that's where the chronic pain comes from a lot of times is because you still have that limitation.
Interesting.
You still have that limitation. So the goal in the energy piece is to reconnect what you've lost. And the nervous system is all energy.
Yes.
So once you start reconnecting that, you start, like my posture for life is all about realigning and bringing the energy patterns back at the end of every day.
And when you say energy patterns, the correct flowing energy patterns?
It can
like
either
we just
be
said?
the meridians, the way the acupuncturists say it. It can be kinesiology and how we see how the body moves. It can be the way the chiropractor sees the energy flow through the spine. There's a certain pattern from the time you push off on your big toe to propel you in the gait process. There's a pattern.
Okay.
There's millions of synchronicities all the way up. So the posture for life is designed to bring that patterning back to a certain place. Because by the end of the day, if you're sitting too much, you've lost a lot of hip movement just from the compression on the lower lumbar. If you're somebody who has bad shoulders and, you're starting to round as you age, so this will bring you back up because every day you do that, you start looking forward and you start shrinking. So it brings you back up. No matter what stage you're at, if you want to go to the gym and work out and you want to hit the muscles better, you want to get upright first and in that pattern to hit them correctly. And then you'll keep getting stronger and the patterns will get stronger.
So you're not exercising in the broken position, that stressed position.
Right. It's bringing you back.
So you're bringing back to as perfect an upright position, as healthy a position and balanced position before you do that.
Right, because as soon as you're out of position, your body drops into it every day worse and worse. The posture for life, it's like 15 minutes and it's just with a yoga block. There's no real exercise to it. It's more movement.
So for people,
a yoga block.
because I'm visual, a yoga block. You can get them. They come in packs of 2, packs of 1. They're all different sizes.
You're looking for a 3
one.
inch. You want a 3 inch. Yeah.
This is 4
I
inches.
think you can get them for like
big.
$6 on Amazon.
Yep.
Yeah. And
sometimes you can find them at the
you're
local
just
store.
holding it in a position when you're doing the stretches. They take about 15 minutes and it's all rotation and patterning. And then by the time you're done, you're like, oh my goodness, I really am standing upright and your gait comes back.
Right. I've used it with my mom and so we put it between the thighs so it stabilizes the hips.
Right.
And so that you're not wiggling all of other different parts. So
Right.
when you're trying to walk, you're not swinging your shoulder or, doing
What
weird
I've learned
things.
with the hips, okay, your joints are in here and then the pelvis. And if you're off just a little bit, just because you sprained an ankle or a knee or you had C-sections or you've had a hernia surgery, doesn't matter what it is, you fell on your bum when you were little. If you're off just a hair, everything you do is off a hair from here on in. This brings you right there. So when you start to move the ankle, now you're moving it from here versus that hair that you're off.
Right.
So just by stabilizing the hips, you stabilize the spine all the way up and all the way down.
So then you're in a very secure position that you can do these exercises, which I've done. And there's, I just told you on Saturday, I literally I bent over with straight legs, which you're not supposed to do, but I do it all the time because I danced my whole life. So I just pick it up, blew out the SI joints. I could stand up, but I couldn't sit down and couldn't get back up again. And the first thing I did, and it was, in thinking and the previous me, that's ridiculous. But I knew from, being, I think I've been 4 or 5 times with you and reading the book. And so I went straight to the yoga block and put it between my legs and standing there. And it's just like, oh, all right, I'm going to lean right. And I think it was, this much.
Right.
But it made a difference.
Yep.
And just a couple of minutes.
Because it brought it back to where because once you stress that vertebrae, you keep falling into it. This helps it relax back to where it needs to be.
So
and then you can straighten those muscles.
I went from this much on right and left, and turning was kind of like, okay. It wasn't a lot of rotation.
Exactly.
But by the second day, it's still very, very painful, but I was able to get a couple of inches and do the very basics and, just rotate a few things and focus on not just where I hurt myself, but getting everything in alignment. So it really, I hate to say it, people, it works. It really does.
Do you realize how many times I've heard that? I'll break my clients' arms to do it. And then finally when they do it, they're like, it works.
It works.
Yeah.
Yeah. My mom, are you being ridiculous? And she'll just lean side to side and there'll be like a little stumble or, it's like, oh, and I'm like, put the yoga block there.
Big difference.
Big difference.
And I even tell people who work on cars, who stand in a set static position all day long, put one between your legs while you're standing and your stability changes completely, because everybody who stands always leans to one side, and then that neck, the shoulders, whatever it is. So if you're stuck at any kind of job that makes you stand for too long, your legs are going to start to give out because this keeps you more stable and it totally corrects things.
Makes everything keep working all the time.
Yep.
I have noticed.
You can even do it when you're sitting at a desk, because when you do it when you're sitting, again, you start slouching. So if you've got that there, it's going to keep you more in a position where you're going to stay upright and your posture is going to get better. Because everybody works with the mouse and then they're sitting like this by the end of the day, or they're doing whatever. I use a peanut too. Next time I'll bring a peanut, and the peanut works really good. I've even had people put Velcro on the peanut. So like my guys who work on cars, they'll just turn it and then walk over. When they go back, it's right there, and then they can lean over. And it gets rid of a lot of low back pressure, a lot.
Oh, I definitely want to find out about that one.
Yeah,
because I'm a low back girl.
Yeah.
You've also told me, and just to let people know, there's a million different tools. These are just 3. This is a
Gua Sha tool.
Gua Sha.
That's probably
tool.
thousands of years old.
Yes.
Yeah.
And again, you can order them online. And this seems to be the average size. I know they come in different sizes, but every time I've looked.
The chiropractors use tools now that are called Graston, and they're more metal.
Right, I've had that.
They use them. The Gua Sha is the original.
Okay.
I don't like people to rub hard on their skin like they're designed. I use them from an energy standpoint. So if you just create friction, it starts to stimulate the nerve endings, and then you roll your ankle while you're creating it, all of a sudden you feel this good flow, and you start to feel your fascia underneath unstick and everything else.
Flow being blood, being the energy.
If you're
through
intent,
the
everything's
nerves and stuff?
intent with energy work. Everything's intent. So you have to stay present. So if you're thinking your leg feels really tight, or you have shin splints all the time, and you go over your shin and you're asking your body to help you release that, it changes how it feels in your hand.
Okay.
And then you start to feel, as you're doing the friction, you start to feel just like this warm and tingling in this flow. And then you start to feel the tissue release all by itself.
That's interesting.
It does it all by itself because you're present and you're asking your body to help you.
Wow. Because I had Graston, and you told me about this, I think it was a month ago. And so that's mind blowing to me, because the first thing I did was what I knew
Grasp
from.
it and you go hard.
So I'm like, not necessarily hard, but I'm doing the same
That
thing.
works too to a point, but
Right.
yeah, I
But
like
then-
to do it from an energy standpoint.
Yeah, but I was amazed, because I also do the fascia blasters, and that is kind of it's got a lot of holes in it, is what I
Plus,
discovered
again,
once you
when
told
you
me
do
about
the
this.
fascia blaster, you're asking the machine to do it.
Correct.
Right.
Good point.
That's the difference.
Good point. So
That's the
I
difference.
started with this, and because I had a really, really, really big dent in here, because I had huge surgery in here, and I've only been doing this probably for about 2 weeks, but just running it, and it's filling in.
Yeah.
But I can also do
The
movements
stones,
I
the
couldn't.
stones have their own energy to them. If you go on Etsy, people make them all the time on there. And you can pick the stone that feels good to you, because it heats up in your hand. The stone actually heats up in your hand and you can feel it. I mean, I've had people just hold them because they calm them down inside.
See, this is news to me, people. Breaking news. Jocelyn found out that you can just hold it and get energy. But see, that's the control.
But that's kind of like
not knowing
the
this
mala
other
beads
piece.
in my book. Okay, one of the tools.
Right, I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, mala beads are universal.
Chapter 6.
Yeah. Universal energy beads.
Universal.
Universal meditation beads.
Okay, I know what a
and there's a lot of
meditation bead
rules in spirituality. They're supposed to be 108. They're made out of wood. I don't believe in any rules because it's an infinite universe. I found that you can make them whatever size is comfortable for you. Mm-hmm. You can go to a bead store, and they have all kinds of stone beads. And if you sit there in front of the beads and you kind of feel your energy first, then you pick up beads and you hold them. They're either going to make you anxious, you're going to feel nothing, or they're going to make you feel a little irritable, or they might make you feel really calm inside. You want the one that you pick up and all of a sudden your insides drop and you feel real peaceful.
Oh.
Then you string them. And then you can sit there and use them when you meditate. You can sit there and just use them for breathing. You can use them when you're stressed. The best part is if you use them on a regular basis for like your meditation and your breathing exercises, they get stronger and stronger because they hold your energy at your calmest.
Oh.
Then when you're having a bad day, you just go grab them and you just relax because you've got you at your strongest, just sitting there waiting.
Interesting.
They're so cool. That's why I like the stone.
Never heard of it.
Well, it's kind of, I've picked all these things up by trial and error and learning from it and playing with it. And
So they have to be
everything-
wood, or they don't have to be wood?
traditional is wood.
Okay.
I prefer the stone because the stone holds your energy.
Right. Okay, I've got what you're saying now.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So
Interesting.
it's whatever, and you might figure something else out when you're doing it. That's the best part.
I may grab onto something
that
goes
you know
on.
what I mean, and your body within might talk to you and say, well, this works great now, but you might need this you know what I mean. My goal is to give you a place to start, then you take it and make it your own.
Wow.
And that's the best part, because everything is just a tool that you can use to start, but you want to make that tool yours once you learn more about yourself and make it more efficiently for you. It's kind of like Qigong. Qigong is a healing art, and so is Tai Chi. Tai Chi was a martial art. Qigong was a healing art. And Qigong, there's thousands of variations because each family took it and adapted it to what they needed for themselves and made it their own.
Wow. So you could do the same thing.
Why not?
Yeah.
Whose rules are we following?
Really? Yeah.
Right?
No rules.
Just what you need for you and what you can find available to you in the universe we live in.
Boy, it makes it so simple. It's complicated, but
we
it's
have
not.
so
It's
many
simple.
rules. Everything's a rule. Everything's a rule. That's the running joke in my house. Don't give mom a rule.
No.
No, she's not going to follow the rule.
Constantly am feeling like, oh, I need giant scissors to cut through the rules. And I think,
But you have to be careful with having no rules too, because then people go way to the
they
other
go,
side.
they go.
Yeah,
You've
so
got to
it's
have
more
the
about
basics.
going inward. What do you need for you? You know, it's kind of like I tell people all the time, I don't want to take the muscle relaxant. I go, but if you don't relax your back, I go, take a quarter of a muscle. Oh, I can't do that. I go, why can't you take a quarter?
Who said you? Right.
Yeah.
Who said
Well, I
can take-
can't. It's a,
You have to take the whole thing or nothing.
Exactly. So you got to kind of adapt. Medicine will give you what they have, and then you adapt it to you. No matter which medicine you choose, no matter which massage. I mean, how many different types of massage are there? I could go on.
Tons.
That's what I mean. So you got to find the one that works for you versus I can only use this kind of massage, or this one's only for low backs. It's not true.
Yeah.
It's
So
not
your
true.
research is not just always on the internet. Your research should be pick 5 massage therapists, go to each one of them, and then decide which one
No,
works.
research starts here.
Right.
Yeah. And the funny part about my book is it's not what people think, because when you first start reading it, you're like, oh my goodness. But every chapter is a scenario. And I don't give you any answers. I help you see that scenario 20 different ways to show you how you see things in life is pretty narrow.
Exactly. And that
Because
need to
you
be
believe
open.
that this is your only answer, but when you look at the scenarios in there, you're like, wow.
It's very true.
Yeah.
Well, it also makes you, it made me, because I can't talk about other people, it made me go, oh, when I thought that before, I wasn't wrong.
Right.
Because we
it's validating.
it's validating
It's
that
validating, yeah, that you're not
Ooh.
crazy, that all that inside stuff.
Marie thought that too. and Sally Mae, she thought that as well. I'm not
Exactly.
nuts. Or it's not even that, but it's just, it's okay to have that pop into your head, which isn't really popping into your head. That's your body going ding, ding, ding.
Right.
Listen.
There's a piece of us that's so smart that knows everything there is in the universe, but we can't hear it because we believe there's something else. So you want to tap into the part that knows what's really there, not what we told it what was there.
So interesting question, because I've sounds very 70s. I was young in the 70s, very young, but something they'd say maybe in the 70s or 80s. I go to this chat room and there's just so many people at night, and it's not a Zoom, it's not anything like that, but everybody uses their mics and shares their information. It's been very interesting, because for the last 3 nights we've had a gentleman come on and he talks about frequencies.
Yeah.
What is
The people believe that if you get to a certain frequency, you have a certain ability, and it's all about a hierarchy. So they've turned spirituality into power.
okay?
Spirituality is just you being you in the purest form that you are, but society is power hungry.
Okay.
So you can pay people to up your frequency, but it has no value in who you are.
That
Oh
sounds
God,
so
I've seen
bizarre.
it all. But that's what people believe, that if I'm at this frequency, I can hear, sense, or do these certain things. Nobody can see, sense, or do anything unless they're inward talking to themselves. If you go outward, you're getting into a lot of trouble in a lot of things in the universe that I wouldn't want to be involved in.
Right.
Yeah.
Is there, in your opinion, your estimation, and your knowledge, are there healing frequencies? Is there such a thing as that?
There's a belief that there is, and there's a lot of people that listen to all these meditation things, these brain things, and it changes your brain waves if you're an overthinker and that kind of stuff. I personally think that for some people, they can be dangerous because, again, you have a certain frequency that you run at. If it's out of balance, you got to figure out what's making it out of balance to just try to alter it. You're altering
So
something
kind of like
else.
the bead thing?
Yeah, you're just altering something else.
Okay.
But it does calm people. I
Yeah.
know people who do it that are very high type A's, people that are overthinkers. It does calm them, but they're still not
It's
healing.
still not them doing it. It's still an exterior.
Right. My work is more empowering you. That doesn't mean some of the outside things don't calm and soothe.
But you don't want to be reliant on them.
I wouldn't, because it alters who you are. And you want to only build on who you are, not alter who you are.
Interesting. So see, just listening to that and just being like,
But that's my theory.
Right. No,
You
but,
know,
it's,
yeah,
but
and
you have to
it's
talk
an
to
infinite
different
universe,
people,
yeah.
which is, again,
Yeah.
what these different chats, that if you haven't done them, they've really come a long way, baby. And you can have a group of people, and of course you only want to be in a group that you trust, but you sit back and you listen. And I heard that part for the last 2 nights, and how interesting that you're here. And I can say, so, what is that about? Doesn't mean it's right or wrong, but
it's what people are being gravitating, anything to avoid them from going inward. Okay.
Interesting. Okay. And I
People
think
will
that's a fair statement.
Yeah, they will do anything other than find it in themselves. And there'll be plenty out there to do that. Is it right or wrong? It's just their path.
Right.
It's what they're choosing to do. There's no right or wrong. If this is the path you want to take and go inward, then I'm your girl. If it's not, then I'm not. There's no right or wrong.
Okay. So we're going to, how do people get in touch with you? You've got the book, The Body Within, The Missing Piece to Health and Aging Gracefully by Marie Nodig. And you can get this on marienodig.com. They can order
You can
this
also
from
get
you.
it on Amazon.
And you can get it on Amazon.
Yep.
So just zoom in on that when you're watching this show and order it. It's a wonderful book. It's short and you can use it over and over and over again. And I've got little tick marks, so my next job is to go through and highlight after I've gone through it a couple of times. You've got this stone gouache.
Guisha. And you can get them on Etsy.
On Etsy.
All kinds of people make them.
Okay. And then you have your yoga block, 3
that on
inches.
Amazon.
And this is here. We'll talk about this the next time, but it's just another little prop. I have to cut it in half. Because I'm not putting that anywhere,
I know.
like under the stomach.
She did not cut it
I
in
didn't
half.
cut it in half yet because I didn't want to ruin it. So people can go on marienodig.com and they can look up your classes and courses and get in contact with you by email.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This has really been very interesting. And I thought I knew some. And I now found out that I only know about this much. And that's okay because I want to keep growing and understand this because I've done that whole other game. And I don't mean that rudely, but I've done that. And so have you. And strangely enough, God put us together. The universe put us together because we both have thoracic outlet. Don't have the surgery till you've done the work. And then if it doesn't, and then go talk to your surgeon because I'm not having it because you fixed me and I'm fixing me. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us, chit-chatting with Jocelyn and my guest, Marie Nodig.
The preceding program was provided by an